Hey y'all, we are live and we are back for another episode of Crack and Shimmy, y'all. I'm so happy to be here with y'all this evening. I got some special guests over here with me. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna have us a good
Guess who's
night.
back again?
Yes, we are look, we continue this conversation. So we are gonna have a good time tonight. I'm feeling a little better. I'm feeling a little better, Nothing like some good sisters, to get you in order, snatch you right, you know what I'm saying? But
I'm
I
sorry, I'm having a little trouble hearing y'all. Hold on just a moment.
can you hear me now?
Background stuff.
Okay. But yeah, we're gonna have a good time tonight. Of course, I got my jackpot juice. I got that wake and bake flavor tonight, y'all. So yeah. Oh yes, we got the glass already in the glass, already ready. We got that wake and bake flavor tonight, courtesy of Jackpot. So thank you, Jackpot, for this evening. And tonight we are going to be discussing dating after divorce. So on Monday's episode, we talked about dating with children. We gave the different aspects of what it's like to date with kids or to date somebody with kids. So tonight we are going to be discussing what it's like to date after divorce. So we got a couple things we're going to go over, some tips, some deal breakers, some scenarios we going to throw out. So did either one of you guys want to start on give your tip or your experience with dating after divorce or during a divorce?
Well, I'll go last since I know you got to get off early. So you
Okay.
want to go right ahead.
Okay, bust me, Anthony me bust.
All the way. Boop, there you go. So it is
Okay,
on.
so
I think you delayed.
okay.
All right,
So
hold on.
my perspective of dating after divorce is from the actual pursuer part. I've never been married, so I'm not the divorcee or the
Okay.
divorcee. I'm not sure what's the proper term. So I've always been pursuing, those
Okay.
gentlemen fellers themselves. And the one thing I can say consistently across the board with dating guys who used to be married, whether it was to a man or a woman or anything in between, um, is there's a lack of confidence. It's like
Mm,
they want you to be 100% you, so they can find themselves. If that makes sense, and at least that's my opinion.
that makes sense. That absolutely makes sense. Because
I
so
mean,
often,
Battle's more the counselor, so she can get into the mental health part. But like for me,
More of
if I were to just like place something
hands
on it, I would say it's I would just say it's more like a lack of experience. Because once
okay.
when you're married, you don't get to go out and play all the games that we play and
Mhm.
do the things that you want to do. You're considering someone else the whole time, and so you really haven't got a chance to go and figure out who you want to be. So
That's
like
true.
that's my experience with dating divorced guys, and then also their significant others or their previous significant others happens to like really encourage it though. Like I've gotten nothing but support from their exes on pursuing them. They were like, can you please do something with him?
Well, I mean, the X is for a reason.
right.
So
Yeah,
some didn't
for a
work.
good reason, because
And
they ain't me.
it's not always an exam. It's not always a situation where, both spouses was like, "I'm done. This it." It may have been a situation where this spouse was like, "Please, let's try again. Let's do counseling," and the other one may have been like, "You know what? I'm good. Okay." So when the other one finds somebody, they're like, "Yes, all right, all right. You need me to fix you up for y'all to go out? What you need me to do?" Because they're so happy that the other one has found somebody that they're no longer
Mhm.
trying to fix a broken marriage or fix a broken relationship that's beyond repair. So I completely
Well,
understand getting that support from that other person.
and like the support is it goes beyond just the actual pursuit of it too. Like they help me set up dates. They help me learn more about the individual. And okay, so one person, Patrick, I'm not gonna use no last names, but he was still married when I met him. Yeah,
Oh,
and his wife was like, can you help me? Can you, I need it now. Be great, so you can take him from me.
Oh, okay.
So to this day, we're really really good friends. So there's when we never made it to a relationship. I have a thing against people with money. So that's my complex. For those who don't know, if you claim to be a baller or a millionaire, so on and so forth, I just already have a complex with that. I'm gonna have one shoe on and foot out the door just because of that. But she really, really, really helped me learn how to date because I didn't know. Like I'm a single guy. I'm walking up with one thing on my mind, and she was like, "No, well, this is what you need to do. This is how you need to express yourself." And then I'm big on questions, so I ask a lot of questions. I ask questions and then a follow up question just to confirm the original answer. And so she taught me how to be more laid back and how to, say, "Hey, this guy has a past. There's some things that he's not going to want to open up about right away. However, you just need to be confident in who you are. Be everything that you know to be in a relationship." And at that time, it was nothing.
Yeah. Hey, Jackie. Hey, Shar. We got some people popping in with us. We got Shar. We got Danetta. We got Bobby. How are y'all this evening? Let's see who else we got in here with us. We got Sharice. We got Linda. We got quite a few people popping in with us today. How are y'all this evening? Shar says, "Hey, babes." Bobby says, "You still in that car? You still driving that car? You on that grind today, baby?"
No, okay, so I just left the station to come here, the radio station. I've been working on a new music video, so there's that.
Okay. We definitely are we're definitely going to have a good time tonight. I hope y'all got y'all glasses because, in the evening time we sip and we chat, because I meditate in the morning so I can sip in the evenings. Okay. So make sure y'all have y'all glasses because we're going to need them tonight. Yes.
I can tell you what's in my cup.
But I have in my cup, I got that jackpot wake and bake. So yes.
My little plum.
Thank you again, Jackie. Thank you again for that jackpot juice. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate you. One thing I have found that because I am divorced, that's what made me think of this topic and decide to discuss this topic, because so oftentimes that when we're in situations of relationships that have been for 15, 20 years, even if you didn't get married, being in a relationship in some states longer than 7 years, you're still married. You're just common law married. So whether it's common law marriage, whether you sign that marriage certificate, sometimes when you've been in that relationship for so long and it ends, trying to move on from that relationship after divorce, because essentially divorce is the death of that relationship. It doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. Sometimes it can be a good thing because you realize, and being with this person for so long, that you've come to really love them as a friend, and just that passionate love isn't there anymore, but that deep-seated friendship love is still there. And that's why people are able to divorce and still be friends, still hang out. You have couples who have been divorced 10 years and they hang out with the new spouses, and and it's a type of situation where it's a peaceful thing because they came to that understanding that this is where we are and this is just not working as a unit anymore, but the friendship may still work. So that's what made me look up. I had my own personal tips from dating after divorce. And then I looked up some from Good Housekeeping because they had some really good tips. And the ones that they had, they were called 12 smart ways to make dating after divorce easier, according to therapists. So these were the tips that they had. The first one was, of course, make sure your separation or your divorce is final. And that's a big one. It's a big one. Because if you don't make sure that it's final, there's a chance that sometimes reconciliation may still be on that table. And if you've gone out and you're already looking at someone else or someone else is entertaining your time, then that person like almost in limbo, because now you've started a relationship with this person. And now all of a sudden in the middle of those divorce or in the middle of those separation proceedings, you realize that, you know what, I want to give this another try. And so now when you literally should have just waited until those proceedings were over, because some of those feelings still linger, whether it's on one side or both sides. Let's see. Number 2 was asking again for the right reasons. I found that to be reasonable, because some people date just because they lonely and don't really want nobody. They just want somebody to, just keep your bed warm. The third
Some people date
Mhm.
for like necessity though. Like I've met people who date just for a place to stay. Like
that's
it's
true.
ridiculous.
Absolutely true. Yes, they do. That's why I
I
said
need these ones and twos because I don't want to interrupt, but I'm gonna go back over.
Oh, absolutely. So the first one was wait until separation or divorce is final. That was the
Okay.
first. The second one was ask if you're dating again for the right reasons. That was the second one. The third one is set reasonable expectations. Oh my God, that is so important. That is so important, especially in today's dating pool. It is super important. Hey, Ivory. Let's
I
see.
would love to chime in on that.
Okay, but go ahead.
Repeat it again. That 3 was what?
Set reasonable expectations.
Set reasonable expectations.
Yes.
Here's one thing about Anthony Marquis DeVal.
Okay.
I expect the expected. I'm gonna lay my expectations right on out, right? And if you don't do that, then you'll settle for anything. If you don't have a standard, so my standard is me. If you can't do at least what I do, then you're lesser than to me. And that's not an insult. That's science. That's equal to, greater than, or less than.
Okay.
So to me, if you can't equal me, you are lesser than. And so a lot of people have a problem stating their intentions. I'll state mine all day. If people will tell you about or yourself all day, like your ex probably told you you was this and you were that, and it had nothing to do with you probably. But they won't say what it is for them. And so like stating expectations isn't more so for, in my opinion, the opposite person. It's for yourself. It's for a self-acknowledgement. Because for example, my expectation in a relationship is to do the right thing. It's probably the most difficult person for everybody to do. Right? I mean, difficult task. But for me, it comes like second nature. If I mess up, I fess up and I take my consequences. And most of the time, if I mess up, it's intentional to leave.
Yeah.
So there's that.
But you also have to take into account that for your expectations, like you said, as a single man, your expectations are different as coming out of a divorce or coming out of a 20-year, 15-year relationship. Because here's the thing. Oftentimes when we're with somebody for that particular time, they have grown accustomed to the things in which that person does, or the things in which that they were used to a person saying to them on a regular, so when I say setting reasonable expectations, what I mean is don't walk into your new relationship expecting them to do the good things that your ex did for you that you enjoyed, because they are not your ex. They are not the same person, not of the same mindset. So set those reasonable expectations to say, hey, I'm walking into this with an open mind, and I'm walking into this with an open heart. I'm walking into it with a clean slate. Because if you don't walk into it with a clean slate, you're going to expect them same things from your past. And the minute they do something that remotely resembles something, instead of giving them the opportunity to react differently, you automatically say, you know what? You just like him. You can't do those type of things. And that's what I mean by setting reasonable expectations. Don't put the expectations of the new person as the same as the old person. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like, I don't set standards as like for them. I set standards for us. Like, communication is my expectation. I expect you to communicate like an adult. I expect you to be honest. I expect you to do the right thing. those are my expectations. So across the board, no matter what your name is, who you are, male, female, whatever, you can do those things. You can communicate, you can do the right thing, so on and so forth. But if you do it in a manner that resembles my ex, I'm gonna call that out because it's a pattern. Like earlier we were talking about ignoring the signs, and I should have paid attention, and this and that. That's part of paying attention. If you see a pattern happening, call it out. Do it with love and with.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that is saying more like make sure it's not a trigger. Because sometimes the pattern can look like a trigger. Sometimes I do something and I'm totally don't even understand what your reaction is to me, but it's because I've triggered something in you that made you feel an old way, had no intent to do it, and had it was no indication I was going to do anything negative. But in your mind, that was an auto, oh, hell no, I'm not doing that again. So
okay, so I get that. You're taking it past literal choices and into personalities.
This is natural instinct. This is my fight or flight taking over. Like, I will never go down that road again. I made that contract with myself. And then all of a sudden, it's like, hold on, wait a minute. I know you knew, but hold on. You just did something that motherfucker used to do all the time. So, and I don't like it. So, and then that person's like, hold on, wait a minute. What happened? What just happened? And you guys, it was like, I knew what I was doing, but that's all auto. And that person, literally has to put up like that. Hold on. So, yeah.
That's what I mean by setting reasonable
expectations. But those are the two natural reactions, though, fight or flight, right?
Absolutely. But in setting those reasonable expectations.
So then at that point, when you know what's
you got a delay so bad.
Yeah. Probably because he's in the car.
I'm so sorry. My car Wi-Fi is running low because I've been all around the city.
It's okay, but when I say set reasonable expectations, that's what I mean. When somebody does something or says something that resembles something of your past, instead of doing the you know what, deuces, I'm out, I ain't got time for this. Give them the opportunity to respond to your reaction. Give them the opportunity that when you like, what the hell? Let them know. Like when they say, oh my God, what just happened? What did I do? What did I say? Be like, you know what? My ex used to say that all the time, and it caused me to really feel like some type of way to shut down. And that's just something that is a trigger for me. And if that person is willing to say, you know what? I'm so sorry, because it was never my intention to make you feel that way. I promise I will do my best not to do that again, or not to say things that particular way. And if a person responds to you that way, then give them the opportunity to prove to you that nothing they're trying to do or say to you is harmful. But now on the other hand, if they respond to you and be like, well, shit, I ain't your ex. What that got to do with me? Guess what? It's time to put your shoes on, put your clothes back on, and walk out the door, or put them out your door. Because that means that they're not caring enough about your feelings or your emotions to say, hey, let me check myself before I do something that sends you in a PTSD frenzy or upsets your anxiety or whatever it is. So that's something that you have to give that person that opportunity to respond to you. And that's why I say for me, that is part of setting reasonable expectations.
There's a third choice to that too, Brie.
Okay.
You can actually recreate.
So let me ask you this:
you feel about that thing.
I want to tie the reasonable expectations with the first part that you said, which was make sure it's final, make sure it's said and done. So if the relationship is still open or still going, and there's a little confusion whether they're going to work it out or whatnot, does that fall into that reasonable expectation?
Yes, it does. They can't commit to you.
Okay,
if they can't finish one thing, how can they commit to you when they can't even commit to the process of ending something before they starting something with you? You can't have a reasonable expectation of this person is going to spend time with me. This person is going to care about my feelings. This person is going to want to, you cannot set a reasonable expectation to say you're getting ready to start a relationship with somebody who's still in the process of ending one and don't even know if they want to end that one.
And I don't always agree. I'm sorry, y'all know I'm playing devil advocate.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But
Yeah,
there
I'm guilty of that.
are people that have been in relationships that got married to someone that person had no intentions on ever being in a relationship with them, but simply to tie them down. Now, I have met that person that wanted to get out of the relationship, that wanted to actually do what they were supposed to do and actually start over with somebody else they truly found they cared about, but couldn't because they were trapped in something. You know, you don't know everybody's divorce, separation situation. So, you know, everybody don't fall into that category. There's a lot of dirty people out there that just want to play both sides. But
you
it's
gotta say that.
ones that went into marriage with the right mind and their partner had no intentions on having that, just like we was talking about earlier with this basketball player and this chick. You had no intentions on going to this marriage the way this man went into this marriage. This man went to this marriage opening up and giving you everything, and you took it. And then you said, okay, I got to go. You know, that's totally different from somebody that gave their all to someone and that other person. You know, sometimes we got unequal relationships, and that unequal means that you so in love with me and I like you. I care about you. I don't think I'm gonna have anybody else that cares about me or treats me like you do, so I'm gonna marry you. And then they go out here and find something physical or something that they attracted to a little bit harder. And it's just like, okay, I don't even care about you, but do they want to get that person a divorce? No, because if can't nobody have you, and I ain't want nobody to have you anyway, which is why I signed the papers. Did I have any intent on being your wife? Hell no. So,
absolutely.
You know? Okay.
And that happens.
Well, what about because
your thing is going away. Shar says, also sometimes conflict arises because each person is expecting the other person to come up to their level and neglect to see that they need to come up to another level in other areas. Come on now.
And
you gotta say that.
That's about that equal question. How do you know you're equal?
Honey,
when we say equal, we're not talking about, oh, well, we do the same. Yes, it's an emotion. I work as hard as you. I don't care what you can do, deliver trash. But if you coming home and I know good well that you don't put your 100 in it, and I know that I don't put my 100 in my work day or in the kids or in family or in our events, that's equality. That's equality.
No, speak it. Like equal measure.
I define my equal based off their willing to commit to those little steps.
Okay.
When you start looking
like, if you're not going to go into the relationship with the same understanding of communication, honesty, that's my equal. Someone who can communicate well and can be honest with themselves, most important. Before me, be honest with yourself, because this goes right back to that relationship, knowing when it's finished. A lot of people don't even check into a marriage. It was never a marriage to them. So one person's married and deep in love, and the other one really is just there for a place to stay, for a bankroll, for necessities, food and whatnot. So in their mind,
because they ain't got no place
else. This is my husband by title.
Yeah.
And so that's why I say equal, because it's about the communication and it's about the honesty. Those are my two standards. Period. How you communicate is up to you. How you tell the truth or how you phrase it is up to you. But you just need to tell the truth, and you need to actually do the work of speaking. Yeah. If I got a guess and I'm sitting up here telling you I had a problem with my ex, he ain't want to tell me about what was wrong, and you sit up here saying, well, we don't want to talk about it right now. I don't care if you want to talk about it. We need to talk. In the event that you don't like the emotions, say that. But that's also speaking. So I'm okay with that. Telling me how you feel is not a problem to me. I don't really factor feelings or emotions into my choices. So I'm going to listen.
And I totally disagree, because for me, you know what? I have been with a lot of smart, dumb people. So smart that you know everything that's going on and you know everything in the world for everybody else, but when it comes to yourself, you can't see nothing. And trying to convince me that what's coming out of your mouth is good for me. No, I don't know. No. So you can talk to me all day long, but if it's not for me, it's not for me. And it don't matter how much you communicate, it ain't for me. So that's why I say it ain't always about communication. Sometimes it's about where your heart starts, where you at here first. Like if you had no truth, your intent, and I think we'll agree there, your intent is what's important in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And throughout, because if you stop having the intent on making me happy and you start thinking about just yourself, you know, that's not equality. Equality means we putting in the same work. We put the same grind. It don't even matter if it's different. It's still the same energy.
Yeah, I gotta disagree with that.
Yeah,
I mean,
Because
I feel like
I have to, because I hurt people's feelings all the time with the truth. I will break out a Merriam-Webster's dictionary and define every word that they stated in a sentence, just to let them know what you said does not factually make sense. So if you cannot handle facts, I am okay with that, because those facts are not going to change. How you feel about the facts, I'm okay with that, because it's not my feelings. But that does not mean that I don't care about you, or that I'm not going to do the right thing just because of who you are and how you operate. If that's the standard, that's the standard. If I love you, I love you. Loving, like I told you about our tribals when we were asked, what does love look like? What does love feel like? And how do you give love? Those are 3 questions we ask each other at tribal. What does love look like to you? How does that feel? What are you doing to express love?
Yeah. Jackie says sometimes it's not just communication, it's listening and understanding.
There it is.
So sometimes I want
that's
you to
where truth
hear
comes
me,
in.
and then sometimes I want you to hear me, and then sometimes I want you to hear me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need you to not only hear me with your ears, but I need you to hear me with your heart, especially if we're in the middle of a conversation and I'm explaining to you that this has hurt me. This has made me feel broken. This has made me feel any type of way. I need you to hear me. And I don't want it to be one of them, okay, I mean, what do you really want me to say about it? Like,
see, I respect that, Bree. I honor that. I love someone who can speak on themselves, because I can't tell you what your truth is. However, but you expressing it is for me to learn. If I told you that you were pissing me off, that's not saying that you're upset. That's saying your actions upset me, not the other way around. But if you're sitting up there saying, if you walk around with an attitude and you can't even say, oh, I'm mad about this, or this upset me, or that pissed me off, then are you really mad?
I guess I see what you're saying about that. Bobby says,
so that's what I'm saying. Like, the communication is just the step one.
Yeah. Bobby says that's true about some people get married for love and some for a bankroll. I had a friend who did that. She invited me to the wedding, and I told her that I can't come because I will speak up when they say speak now or never hold your peace.
Bobby, I'm you. I'm you in the flesh, except I'm for real, for real.
Come on, Bobby.
To be like this the whole time.
I might have on the shirt that I made that say, don't do it.
I am a Virgo.
I'm a Pisces.
What are you? I am a vicious Gemini.
Baby,
Gemini to the fullest.
Sean says, yes.
I bet you they are divorced today, Bobby. Divorced today.
Ivory said also depends on the
person. But I will say this, Bree. All of my friends, my closest peoples in my life, all 5 of them, except for one, are Virgos. The other is a Sagittarius.
Okay.
And I'm totally opposite. All mine are Geminis except for one Sag. So
that's what's up. I think I have an array. I have an array, like it's everywhere. Ivory says also depends on the person's love language, because one person's act of love can be different from another. Absolutely, because we discussed that. We discussed that last week when we talked about the 5 different love languages and how your primary love language doesn't necessarily mean that you don't like the other 4. You just might like them sprinkled in here or there. So that's absolutely important. Bobby said, needless to say, she was happy that I didn't come, but they are divorced today. # should have listened to Bobby.
They can't walk away with no pennies. None. No pennies.
You should have went, girl. You could have saved her a lot of trouble.
Could have saved her some money on divorce. Marjorie says,
you could have got you a bag out the deal.
Right. Marjorie says in my relationship, we have to set one day to talk about any and everything. And yes, communication is so important.
Yeah.
She says she's a Taurus, Zelma.
Yeah.
Ivory says
Taurus is
that
on the
explains
stuff.
a lot. What does it explain? That's my daughter, by the way. What does it explain?
Here's
Now?
how I get.
You know what? I got a little goddaughter. Her name is Adore. When I tell you this baby came out the womb, Taurus. When I tell you she had an attitude from the beginning, it wasn't no bad attitude. It's just I know what I want. I want what I want, and I'm gonna get what I want. And when I tell you that little girl is fire, so I don't know. Tauruses just come out different. They some strong, and I don't know a lot, but the ones I know, you can tell from the get go. Yep, that's a Taurus. Like as soon as they tell you, be like, okay, that's what I'm looking at. It's just a confidence. I don't know, but I love it.
Taurus is what month? That's what.
I love being a Taurus. I feel like a Taurus and a Gemini are almost the same thing.
Okay.
Like if a Gemini is a twin, a Taurus is a Siamese twin.
Yeah, honey, that Gemini. Woo. Yeah, I didn't have some experience with some
Honey, they got to be my friends. I don't know.
Weren't they all great?
Hey, Bev. Absolutely not. My children's father is a Gemini. Ugh. That is certainly for.
Is he very, very like black and white? Yes or no?
Huh?
Ooh, Bobby, you married a Leo.
Does he operate in like? Yeah.
Leos are kind of like.
Does he operate in like solids? Like either he's hot, or he's freezing cold. There's no lukewarm.
Of course, absolutely. Absolutely. Two different personalities. You got the hot one and you got the cold one. And guess what? I don't like either one. So we good.
Happy birthday, Sam. Sam's birthday.
Sam. Yes, it is. Oh, y'all an Aquarius and a Leo. Jackie says Taurus gang. Okay, Jackie. Okay, we getting all the signs tonight. We got a Scorpio. Okay,
right.
Okay, we getting everybody up in here. Okay, Star says she's a Libra. Okay, all right.
Hey, Miss Libra.
Man, QN. I'm currently with the Gemini. Lord, he is something different.
Honey,
they is the best friends in the world. But I would
never date another one.
What?
Never date another one. No.
Two Geminis together is magic, though.
Because y'all understand when you super hot, they might be super cold, and when they super cold, you super hot. It work that twist and work together. You know what I'm saying? Y'all understand that today is your crazy day, and tomorrow is their crazy day. So they understand. So I get it. Okay.
Yeah, that's really what it is. Or either one person's mouth says what the other person's attitude says, or
yes,
it works.
Absolutely.
Honestly, the one that got away from me is a Gemini.
Oh.
No. I hope he falls off a cliff. We're not sad. We're not sad at all.
So listen, okay, so we got to keep going on the list, y'all, because we having so much fun.
Okay.
Yeah. So number 4 on the list is be honest about your past. That's number 4.
I'm gonna go back.
Okay. Now number 5 is go slow at first, which makes sense. It makes sense. Number 6, and I completely understood number 6. Make space for your feelings to bubble up. That right there, I completely felt that wholeheartedly. I completely felt that because when you get divorced, you think that there's days when you feel like, oh, I'm cool. I'm over this bull. I don't be bothered with that shit. And then there's other days that there's some guilt that you feel like, okay, maybe I didn't do everything I could to try to make this work. And then some days it may be sadness at the end of that relationship because you're thinking about the good times in that relationship. So you have to allow room for those different feelings to come up at different times and not try to stifle them and push them down. Because then what happens is when you're mixing all of that in there, it's going to come out in your new relationship and you're not going to like the way it come out. So you have to make room for your feelings to bubble up. I completely felt that. Completely. What about you, Zelma? Do you agree with that or no?
I'm gonna come back.
All right then. I'm gonna marinate on that one. Bev says, yes, totally. He is it. The kindest heart keeps me on my toes. Intelligent brings laughter. You know what I'm talking about, Bert? Yes, I do, because I know it. Bobby says all heart. Bev says, why? She says, what they don't know won't hurt. Nope, I've never felt that way. Nope, let that go and move on.
And you know what? That's what I was gonna say. Because I know a lot of people that get gaslighted, that get abused verbally, they get abused emotionally, and that person uses their past against them. So if again, that's the mindset that you go in, but you have to make sure that your partner is going in with that same mindset. Because if not, that person can be your worst nightmare. They can be your abuser, and they can have that information and actually use it as a weapon. So it's dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. If you just that person to give all your business in the beginning, and you working with a person that's manipulative or that's evil for no reason at all, or just wants to control you, then that's a dangerous thing to do. So that's why I said,
I can't, I get that. That's why I say, but some people, they're able to cut them strings and they're able to move on. They're able to do that. But then you have some people that still kind of, because like I said earlier, you have some people that want the divorce and some people don't. Right. All divorces are not non-contestable.
Exactly.
So when you're in those situations where you're the party who didn't want the divorce, and that other person is like, boop, I'm out, holla. They going on. They got a whole new family, new spouse, new baby on the way, and you feel like, damn, that was quick. Like, wow, what am I? So that's why I said for those people, they have to allow room for those feelings, for the people who have not really cut those strings and moved on. And that's why they say go slow at first.
But I was thinking more along the lines of the people.
So as a dater, not being divorced, I look forward to the person that I'm dating talking about their ex. Like, I want to hear those things. I want to hear about the good times and bad times. That's just me. And I say that because I want to know what mistakes not to make.
I can understand.
And look, Battle, when you meet me, you get the life story up front. Here's why. Because if you use any of that information for my harm, then I know your intent. There's no reason to beat me up about my past.
Yeah,
I can do that. But if you use that information, and
that's what I'm saying. Like, some people just want other people to hurt. And they don't have the capacity of what you think is love. Love comes in the form of manipulation, of control. And the more I know about you, the more I can do that. And if I know that you're vulnerable, and then I know that you got to cling to somebody. If I don't let you have anybody in your world, then I'm that somebody. What was that Prince song where he was like, even if you the one that hurt me, I want you to come to me. Like, that mentality.
Yeah.
God, I don't remember y'all know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's just like that.
I get it, but to me, that's like saying, to me, that's like saying that I don't care how you feel. I just want you to do what I said do. Like, to me, that's not what's up. That's what I'm saying. Like, to me, it's a battle. Like, I don't think it's right for someone to have a secret, period. Especially when they're using that secretive information to benefit everybody. And then the other person is just all up front. And the same person is using that information to harm them. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, if everybody's honest up front, then we're all vulnerable together. We're all growing together. We're learning each other together. We're emotional together. And like, I get going slow, and I get, holding off on the physical interactions and stuff like that. But communication, the more information you have, the more pointed and precise choices you can make as far as what you want to do. Because leading somebody on for a couple months, to me, is just as hurtful as leading them, telling them the truth and being honest, saying I don't want to do this, and still playing along with it. Like, both of those go hand in hand with me.
I don't have to share all my business, to be honest with you.
I didn't marry you.
No, your business is your business.
To be honest with you.
Especially,
I get that, but that all describes you.
I just feel, I feel like if Shar said, can we talk about number 4? How much about your past should you share? I kind of want to leave the past in the past and not bring the residue of my past into my present or future. I understand, when it tells you to be honest about your past, it's not saying go into dynamic detail of every single incident. Just be honest. A lot of people, I met somebody, I'm gonna give you an example. I met this guy. I had asked him if he had ever been married before. Now, before I finish this, I'm gonna let you know I'm I Spy, okay? My friends call me I Spy. My sister calls me I Spy because I guarantee you, if you even remotely think you have a chance with me, baby, I promise you, I have investigated you, okay? I know your background, your criminal background, your retail background. I'm just trying to tell you.
Let it go.
I got to protect myself and my kids now, okay? I asked this man, have you ever been married before? Now, I ask intentional questions, usually because I know the answer to them. No, I ain't never been married. You sure? You've never been married before? No, I ain't never been married before. Okay. Now, to show you how far he was willing to go with that lie of never being married, he had wedding pictures on his Facebook page, forgetting that we had become Facebook friends. And then one day he said, can you go get my wallet and get this out for me? This Negro still had his wedding vows folded up inside his wallet, along with a miniature picture of them in their wedding outfit. So me being me, I put it back. Asked him again a couple weeks later, like, you sure you ain't never been married? No, I ain't never been married. I'm like, what is the point of lying about not being married before? Like, does that make you like undesirable? And his answer was just like, I didn't think it was a big deal. But I asked you like 4 times because I already knew the answer. So you have people who will lie about stupid stuff. So to expect people to be open and honest and vulnerable with you up front is, to me, is an unreasonable expectation, because I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to tell you everything about me. I'm not going to tell you everything about my past. I'm not going to tell you everything about my marriage and what it was like, because I don't want that to be the premise of the beginning of whatever I'm trying to start, or if I'm trying to get to know someone. Because a lot of times people will spend so much time asking you dumb questions that don't have nothing to do with you getting to know each other. They just want to be nosy. Like, so why your marriage ain't work? So, well, what you do? Well, what he do? Well, did he ever, like, why do you need to know this stuff? What are we doing? What are we doing here?
Well, I feel like all that is important.
And my rule for that is,
to me, so
if we're not talking about a part that you're actually going to fulfill, then we're not having a conversation. If you're asking me about sex and we're not sleeping together, that's not your damn business. If you're asking me about my kids and I'm not ready for you to meet them, that's not your business. If you ask me about my bills and you ain't got your checkbook out,
hello,
ask me about my business.
Hello,
car keys, they go to note. Insurance. Let me see your license. You know what I'm saying? Like, ask about business that got something to do with you. That's the important part. If you're not gonna be in that space, don't be in that place with me, right? It's just no.
Don't overstep.
Then you being nosy.
I don't know. I just feel like every bit of information that you give someone is an opportunity for them to avoid something in the future. Like, so for example, let's say like with the married man, he said he wasn't married, right? Now, if he would have just told you that up front without you even having to ask, when y'all had conversations in the future about anything, that could be like a go-to for you guys. That can be, well, in your last marriage, did you do this? You have something to base it off of. You have something to compare and contrast. So then you're learning, like, it is not to say that you should give them all the details, but I'm just saying all the the more relevant information you can give somebody about yourself and upfront, the more they can see in the future that you're being honest with them. If I never said I was in a relationship before and I start dating somebody, and I've been single my whole life, so on and so forth, now they're thinking that learning as I go, and that's not the case. If I said, mention bring up a friend, they're like, oh, well, did you date such and such? You just said you never dated. Come to find out, y'all was in a relationship. So it's like all those future arguments can be avoided by giving the foundation up front to me. And I like, for those Christians out there, the Bible says any home not built on a solid foundation shall surely fail. And if there's cracks in that foundation, it's gonna fail.
I am my foundation, and I don't have to share my everything with you for you to be able to support me.
No, and, not your everything, just your every choice.
No,
I'm not gonna do that either. I'm not gonna do that.
If you made an action, there is evidence and proof of that action. So to lie about it, it's gonna come back up.
But it doesn't have to be.
It's gonna be provable.
It doesn't have to be a lie.
I'm not talking about being dishonest. I'm talking about
and then I'm not saying tell the whole story. If you rob a bank, I'm not saying give them the whole bank robbery plan. Just say, yeah, I robbed the bank before. Well, how'd you do it? It's none of your business.
But you have to see that opens doors to places that you don't need to go. Like there's no reason why anybody needs to ask me why my children have different dads. That ain't your business. You don't need to know that like that part of my life unless I choose to share it with you. But what you will not do is push me past my boundaries. You will not push me past my limits, because here's the thing. Every piece of information you give is a way for somebody to use for ammunition to hurt you. Let me tell you something. I don't care what your best intentions are. There are certain things about my life that are not your business. Now, if we should become business partners, and there are certain aspects of my life you need to know, like if I've ever had any evictions, if I've ever been in bankruptcy court. Now, those are relevant because now we're entering into a business together, and the same questions I'm asking you are the same questions I expect you to answer. But if we're just sitting at a table, let me tell you something. There's a limit to my 20 questions. And the 20 questions that I play has nothing to do with what kind of panties I like, what position I like, how often I like it, how I like it. Those are not conversations or questions we need to be having until we get to a point where we decide we're going to be in a serious, committed, long-term relationship. Because there are just certain questions that you don't need to be asking, and it's not for future references. Because here's the thing. A person never knows what they're going to do until they're in that situation. I don't care if you've been in that situation before, you've never been in it with this person. So you don't know their reaction of last time may be different this time. So therefore, it's not a lie if I don't tell you that I've been through a situation. All you can do is allow me to go through that situation with you and deal with it in that moment. You ain't got to know what I deal with anybody else because it ain't your business. They not here. I'm with you.
I 100% agree with that statement. Because if you have kids with multiple fathers, I don't need to know how that came about. But what if I met your kids and was like, oh, go tell your brother, tell his dad to come here.
Still like that. Business. And
wouldn't that not be awkward?
You wouldn't be talking to my kids like that. Point blank, period. You're not going to tell my kids to go tell nobody's daddy to come here. Because you ain't going to be talking to nobody like that. Because let me tell you.
And that was just an example. I would never. But like if I'm assuming they all have the same father, I'm thinking I'm talking about the same person though.
It don't matter what you assume. You're not going to be talking to my kids like that. Because when it comes to them situations, let me tell you, as a mom, my claws come out, baby, and they do not retract easy when it comes to my children. So when it comes to situations like that, I would never be with anybody who would talk to my kids like that.
Right.
Why would you even tell a kid to go tell their brother to tell their daddy to come here? Like, you can't just
and I'm not speaking like this is like something private or something. Like I'm speaking like in a general sense. Like let's say you invite somebody to a cookout, right? And your ex came because he's part of the family still, right? So on so forth. So that's what I mean. Like, hey, can you tell your dad to come here? And turn out he go get a whole different dude.
Nope.
He like, so
first of all, you should have checked your facts before you asked that child to do anything. Like what?
Ask the adult.
No, it is so much easier to know what you talk about before you sit up there and put
you as the adult, Bree, just said that ain't my business. So how can I ask you? So should I say, hey, go send me your kid's father?
Meaning that by the
then you send multiple ones.
My child, you would know what you were talking about to my child.
That's right.
Because that information would already be common knowledge. Until then, there would not be a conversation with my child for you to ever make a mistake like that. Like, no.
Well, why would you even?
Okay, so common knowledge is what's used against people with malicious intent.
But
your words
is common knowledge. It's still, why would you be calling if you're who I'm dating? Here's the thing. If you're who I'm with, what the hell do you need to talk to that man about anyway? He ain't got nothing to do with you. He's not in a relationship with you. You have nothing to do with his children. So therefore, you shouldn't be telling my kids to go get their father because you have nothing to talk to that man about. That's the bottom line.
I like dominoes, and I really had a whole domino game in my head. That's where the scenario came from, honestly. I was like, so we're about to play dominoes. We need our fourth man. You said, who know how to play? Oh, your dad, your brother's dad? Oh, okay, we'll go get him. You know, like that's the scenario that literally popped in my head. So that's what I'm saying. Like more information given up front, and when we got to the domino game, I can just go get them. I don't have to send nobody. You said talk to the adult. How do I know who to talk to?
Because doing stuff like that, you'd never make it to another family event. I'm just gonna tell you right then and there. You would probably be asked when you got to that point. I mean, I'm just telling you from my standpoint.
This is why I don't date though. Like I don't like to date in general. I give everybody an opportunity who wants to date me that chance because I feel like you should never, stop looking. But at the same time, like I don't want to do this. I don't want to have to get to know your family, your people, your ways for you just up and leave. Whether and especially if you can't talk about those things. If you're telling me do not bring up my kids, then I have that as a foundation. Okay, so one thing that's off limits to talk about is the kids. However, we can talk about other things. But that's you telling me that. That's not me asking you that. That's why I'm saying like the honesty factor is the big picture, but the communication part is like, what are you giving up? Like, what are you exchanging? If we're dating, if we're pursuing a relationship, how do I know if I want to spend the rest of my life with you if I don't know who you are? If you don't want to tell me anything about how you become who you are.
I'm exchanging the one thing I can't get back, and that's valuable, more valuable than anything. I'm giving you my time. Period.
Like I just.
So what does that information have to do with your value, though? Because it doesn't belittle you if you have multiple baby fathers. It doesn't belittle you if you have a terrible breakup and you were to blame. None of that devalues you as a person. It's just your experience, and those experiences help build the future.
But here's the thing. You're looking at it from the perspective of somebody who's never been married. You're looking at it from a perspective of somebody who's never been in a committed relationship to the point where they were common law married. So we're talking about situations.
I have been.
So you've been in a 7+ year relationship.
Oh yes, I was engaged to twice by the same person.
Okay. So here's the thing: if you had followed through and gotten married, sign those papers, been married for years, and then all of a sudden you did all of this that decided that you wanted to, that all of a sudden you, for whatever reason, he decides to walk out the door. You still want that marriage, but he walked out the door and was like, you know what? Hey, you on your own. I'm out. You look up. They with somebody else. So here's the thing. Now, taking all of that into consideration, and God forbid you also have children in that situation, you have to take it from the standpoint of somebody who has just lost something. And when you're dating, you walk away, it's cool. Ain't no second strings. You ain't got to think twice about that person. But when you've been married to a person, when you sign them papers, sign that contract and say, I belong to you, you belong to me, and nobody else, that is when you have to take into consideration that there are certain things that if you give everything to this person in the beginning, And then in the end, in that divorce, they've taken every single piece of information that you ever felt the need to voluntarily share because you want a future scenario. And they turned that around to stab you in your back, twist that knife and shove it forward. You wouldn't be so quick to be like, well, all right, I'm just dating to be dating. It's only been a week. I'm cool. I'm good. You have to take into consideration that you still have to have time to grieve something that has ended, especially if you still want it. So that's what I mean by I feel like you're looking at it from a perspective of somebody who's never had their heart broken by somebody they had on.
Yeah.
There are different things, because when you start talking divorce, you're talking about a union that you have created. And sometimes it's more than just paper. People have businesses together. When those houses are in both names, you got to sell that house or one got to buy the other one out. Then you start talking about businesses. It's the same thing. So it's not just a cut, dry, walk away, don't care, never got to see you. You literally have to, it's time. Some divorces take
about domestic violence. It's a lot of people that's in danger when they walk away from these relationships.
That's right.
They know good and well that this person don't care about them ever breathing another breath if they not with them. And so that puts the extra twist on it. And don't underestimate the person that ain't never put their hands on you, honey. Because that person, a lot of times,
is that the number 5? Like the
what? Huh? What do you say?
Is that what they meant by number 5? The tip?
Don't go slow. Go slow.
On the list.
Number 5 was go slow. Yeah, right. It was go slow at first.
So is that what they mean? Like,
I mean,
is that slow, what that means? Like with the information, slow with the information or slow with the actions?
Slow with everything. Because you have to allow yourself time. Like the one before said, you had to make, the one after says you have to make space to bubble up. So, I mean, if you still have some residual feelings for that relationship, whether it be an anger, whether it be a sadness, whether it be anything, it could be anxiety from domestic violence. You could be sitting at the table and somebody moving, you like, whoosh. Ooh, okay. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what it could be. When you want to go slow, you're not just regurgitating all your information at the table on your first date. Right. You want to take it slow because you have to allow yourself time to even determine if this person is worthy of your time or if you can even see yourself in relationship. Because when you regurgitate everything at first, you don't give that person a chance to process and be like, okay, so these are some things, because there are some things that are deal breakers for people right off bat. Being divorced is one of them. So you have to allow people time to process. And when they say be honest about your past, they mean that, just be honest, be like, hey, I'm divorced of however many years. It is what it is. That's my past. I've moved on from that. And so that way it doesn't leave the door open to say, okay, well, y'all was married for how long? Well, why it didn't work? See, once you say, okay, and I've moved on, that closes that door to say, okay, I've given you enough information about my past, or I've given you enough information about me to make your own determination without you diving in a drawer that don't belong to you. You see what I'm saying? So that's why you have to go slow, even with your actions. If you're dating, if you're honest with yourself and you're dating for a purpose, you have different methods that you use as opposed to dating for the purpose of maybe remarrying. That's why you have to ask yourself.
May I pose a question?
Yeah.
I want to address this comment when you finish.
Okay.
My question is the question I'm about to ask valid? The question is, why are you dating? Is that a valid question?
It is, because on the very second one said, ask yourself if you're dating again for the right reasons. So if the person that you're out on a date with asks you, what is your purpose for dating? I mean, if it's not the right reason, then just be honest about that. People, like you say, people date out of necessity. People date because they lonely as hell. People date because it's financially beneficial. So you have to know for yourself, if you're a person that you're like, what, I've been married, I ain't never going there again. So guess what? I'm finna be on something completely different. I'm finna get married.
I have wanted that my whole life. And that is all of this brings me back to my very first statement from saying that a lot of guys that I date that are divorced, they're not confident. They don't know who they are. They don't like. That's why I say, like, why are you dating? If you don't know who you are, why are you dating someone else?
A lot of people can't
Who are they
answer
getting to know?
sometimes themselves. Sixpo said, and what about his time? Just as valuable.
And what I said was, what I'm providing is mine. That means that I don't have to give you all my business because my time is enough. And if it wasn't a good date, then I've given you well over enough. If it was a great date, then you might get some more of it. Now that, of course, is an exchange, but please believe me, that's valuable enough. I don't got to give you my business, my kid's daddy's name, my family history, how much I got in my bank account, what I do all day long, like all of that stuff comes in time if you worthy of that information. Otherwise, you just got too much of my business in your brain. That's what I'm saying.
Get your mouth off of it. Get your mouth off
I
of
don't
it.
know. I just never seen facts be like, if you do the right thing, anything that you do cannot be used against you. Even if you like, so for example, a lot of people have an issue with my sexual history, and there's reasons behind that. And I get that. I don't care what you think about who I slept with and what all we did. To me, I will tell you whatever it is you want to know, because in the event that you hear it again, you heard it first from me.
Ain't your business. And I'm not obligated to sit up there and play confessions with everybody just so nobody will think this way about me. I don't care what you think. I'm not with you.
It's not that, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I tell people everything up front because I'm confident in who I am. All of my actions, I chose to make those choices. That is my value. I value myself enough to experience what I experienced. I value myself enough to know that what I did do does not define what I will do.
But confidence has nothing to do with the fact that I'm a private person.
Right. Well, I got a question for you.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
So
But
if you're willing,
some answers that you've been given, though, like as a mental health, like just looking at it from the mental health perspective, seem like insecurities or defense mechanisms.
Not at all. It's called privacy. I am allowed to share in my own time, in my own space, when I feel like it, if I feel like it, and I may never. And it's not your business unless I choose to. And it's nobody's judgment that's going to change that in my mind. And that's mental health, meaning that I'm not being manipulated by anything society tells me I need to do or say or feel, because I do things in my time. So no, on a mental health standard, I tell clients, move the way you feel like you need to move in your time, because if you do anything but that, you're not being honest with yourself. Then you just people pleasing. That's what I meant.
But the giving of the time itself is the value. So what you do in that time doesn't value it. It just makes it more valid.
So here's the flip side.
Exactly. So I'm saying, if you are choosy with your time,
here's the flip side to that. If you are willing, if you're a person that's willing to put everything on the line, you are willing to give every and all, right? Now, what happens when you give your every, your all? You done told it all, you done said it all, you done done it all, you done showed them all, because you felt the need to be upfront, honest, and just out there. Now, what happens if the person you like is like, whoo, hold up. You've given me a little TMI here, okay? We're treading into TMI like you. Oh, I don't think I need to know all the details. So what happens when the person you like doesn't want to hear all your details, or doesn't want to hear everything you trying to shove down their throat because you want to be out there open and honest? What happens in those situations when they walk away from you because you're giving them every single thing? What happens then?
Then I value you even more, because I am no longer having to give up my time. You chose that you said that I wasn't worth the time I was giving you because of who I am. And if I'm telling you strictly about me, and that's a problem, I'm the problem, please leave me alone. You should be the solution. If you cannot accept all of me, feel free to leave me alone right then and there. Whether it's a day or 2 years, please leave me alone. I will deal with that hurt. I will.
I cannot accept. It's the fact that I don't need like that shoved down my throat. Like, it's a time, it's a place, and it's timing for everything. Like sometimes I just want to enjoy your smile. I want to hear you laugh. I want to see what your small talk is about. I want to see what you like when you're looking at the moon. I want to see if you like sunsets or what your favorite color is. Like, can we start there before we get to who you fucked? Or excuse my language, or what you did
yes,
last
of course.
week. Like all of it is
yes, of course.
It's timing. It's time and place for everything. So if I'm a private person, you might be a few months before I tell you, oh, let me tell you about the worst relationship I ever had. Why? Because that's my business and my choice.
I don't want to be about
so that's you telling, not them asking.
I might be in a relationship for years before I tell you about my trauma, and it's because it's mine. It's my trauma, and when I choose to share it, then it can be our trauma that we're working through. You know what I'm saying? But again, until I'm ready to let go of some things, it's not me feeling guilty for not sharing who I am.
So
and what
I'm gonna do the flip side, like Bree did. Flip side, you didn't tell me. Now we're together, and you're telling me this. Now I don't want to be with you. Now what?
Then peace, doses. Like, bye. I don't care.
So you rather.
But I did it in my space, in my time, in my comfort zone, and I'm okay because I knew that when I put it on the table, that was an option. That was an option for you. That's why I put it on the table. You know, it's people that have been raped, and
that is why I do it up front. So
they've been raped before. You know what I'm saying? That's the risk you take.
And that's just why I choose to do it up front, is to avoid the dragging on, the carrying out. I get that a lot of people don't want to do that, and I'm not forcing anybody to, or saying that they should and can and have to. But I'm saying the reason why I do it is because I don't want to waste 10 years of my life before I tell somebody the truth, and then once they know it, 10 years is down the drain. Now I'm 10 years older with the same.
If I hear what you telling me in week 1, and it's too much, but 5 years from now you tell me that, and babe, I don't care what it is. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what it is. If that person hurts you, they hurt me. Versus day 1 where it's like, oh, you got a lot of shit with you, and you done put it all on my plate, and I'm not ready to eat that. So
you can take.
It's okay to be a person with trauma and not put all your stuff on it and still have a healthy relationship. But you gotta be able to move in your own time. If that's you, if you drop everything at one time, if you find somebody that's able to catch it, good for you. But more than likely, that person is going to want to just enjoy the minimum and then slowly but surely rise up to whatever you're trying to build. That's the difference in like and love and unconditional love.
Yeah, like.
And so if I told you all about me unconditionally up front, and you choose not to accept that, that saves me time.
There's no investment.
That means
here.
all that time that
I'm not invested in you.
I'm just talking about me, and I'm not divorced. So, like y'all said, you're right. I'm not divorced. I don't know. I don't know that closure, those steps for that closure. But I'm saying, as just dating, period. If you're gonna date me, you have to accept all of me, and I'd rather you find out all of me up front than 10 years down the line.
And and that's why I say I understand that.
That's just me.
Like I agree with Zoma, because here's the thing: when I'm having dinner with you for the first time, I don't want to hear about the fact that you was assaulted when you were 6 years old, and then when you was at 8, your granny beat you, and then DCFS came in when y'all was like 10, and then they took your brothers and your sisters, and then I'm sitting at the table like, okay, it's time for me to grab my phone. Like, you know what? It's getting a little late. I gotta go check on my kids. I gotta get up super early in the morning. Had a great time. I'm gonna call you when I get a chance to, and I'm out. Because I didn't lie. I said when I get a chance to. Now I might never get the chance to, but I didn't lie when I said I'll call you when I get the chance to. That just means when the hell I feel like it. But I'm not gonna sit here and listen to this whole first conversation, and I'm damn near ready to talk to my therapist, and I'm ready on the verge of tears because you sitting here telling me about how many times you was beat, assaulted, raped, molested, abused. Like don't put your trauma on me on the first.
I feel like I should have been more specific, and this is on me. When I say up front, I don't mean the first conversation. Like those questions Battle was talking about, what's your favorite color? When's your birthday? That stuff, those are the first couple months. But I'm saying, like, when you start to have real conversations, I prefer to talk about me than things I don't know about. And I know all about me.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, one of the things, the next one on that list, Delma, was Know your priorities. That was the next one. And that's why I wanted to, because know your priorities.
Yes.
You have to know what's important to you. And knowing what's important to you will allow you to put your priorities in a relationship in terms of what you're looking for. Because here's the thing. When you're dating, and see, that's why I say you're looking at it from a perspective of somebody who's never been married. At it from a perspective of somebody who's been married before and been divorced and been through a nasty divorce at that. So
and my mother nasty. So
right. So nothing on her end, and on my end, it was just absolute the worst. So knowing what your priorities are, it allows you to go into your new relationship without thinking. Yet again, setting your reasonable expectations. Being comfortable, making sure that you are at a point where it is over, it is done, it is ended. So when you know your priorities, is to say, okay, I want to get married again because this has not ruined my outlook. So my priorities for me in my 40s, I'm 41. It's not the same as my priority was at 21. Like now, okay, you can have a cute car and you can have a few dollars in your account, but tell me what that 401k do. Tell me what them benefits do for that job. Like, no, priorities are different because at a certain age, you're not looking for the materialistic. You're looking for emotional and you're looking for stability.
And you're looking for great sex.
Baby.
Like, if you ever got stuck with somebody, know what the hell they do in the bedroom. That, you know what I'm saying? That's a conversation you can have on the first daggone date. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, talk about some surface stuff that you know you're going to actually touch.
And laugh about it. Find stuff you can laugh about because your first date doesn't need to be something so serious, and it doesn't need to be in the movies because you can't hear each other when you're in the movie theater. Like, that's a date you go on. Let me tell you something. Going to the movies on the first date is going out with somebody that you really ain't really feeling too tough because you don't care about seeing their face or listening to what they got to talk about. So please understand, it's a method to the madness. When your first date is at the movie theater, 9 times out of 10, you probably won't get that. And if you do get a second, it's going to be way, way, way down the line after everybody else has said no. Okay.
Look, either that or else that's the hit it and quit it. You know, you hit it, you ain't got to talk about nothing. We ain't got to eat. We ain't got to nothing. We went there. We had that date, and we got started in the theater, and then we finna go, and then you got to go. You know what I'm saying?
Like, made a movie, it's done. In that order. Watch the movie.
I get that. And, that's what I'm saying. So, like, I'm going to have the conversations to get comfortable. Yeah, you're supposed to have the conversations to make you comfortable and make you, see if you can relate. If I can't relate to you, then, I'm never going to tell you anything.
Yeah, but
maybe it is. I'll say this. Rest in peace, Black. But that was the man I was going to marry. And he was the complete opposite of me. He was evil. He was the dirtiest lawyer I knew, and I blew up his car because of this shit. Like that type of stuff. Yeah. So it's not to say that his trauma and his ways were too much for me. It was to say that he never told me about them. So when I found out about them, I felt manipulated. I felt it.
That's another type of trauma. That was someone that was withholding information that you knew that you were in a long-term relationship with. That's different from meeting somebody and saying, hey, here's my stuff. Can you handle it? And they have nothing invested in you. That's the difference I'm talking about. Like, it's okay to share.
You're talking about dating. So is this not dating?
It's not a...
so maybe we should define dating because maybe I don't know what dating is.
Well, dating is not the same as being in a relationship.
Not at all.
Dating is just what it sounds like. Dating is dating. When you're dating a person, you can date however many people and whoever you want to.
That's
once you enter in that relationship, the only person you better be dating is the person you're in a relationship with.
Right.
That clarifies.
I want to date you to see if I want to be in a relationship.
If I like you,
I want to date you to see what you like to do. If it's fun, if we have chemistry, I want to date you to see if you got potential to go to that next step. But once we get to that next step, then we can start sharing things. But if we just getting to know each other and hanging out and we don't have anything invested, I ain't telling you my business. You don't even need to know nothing except my first name for real. Like
I'm gonna say you better hope you get the last.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
First.
yeah.
You know. Yeah, hi, my name is Brie. Okay, what'd you say your name was?
Right.
We're not giving all of that. You don't need to know first name, middle name, family nickname.
Your
Like,
nickname,
no.
you know? I'm Z.
Like you better be glad you don't know anything at all. Girl, bye.
I agree with that.
Anything at all. Like,
Don't look me up on Facebook. Don't look me up on any kind of social media. Hello.
I need
So can I ask like the divorced people a question?
Yeah.
Do you want to be married again, or do you just want to be in a relationship again?
You know, here's the thing. For me, even though I've been married, it didn't sour my view on marriage, because I truly believe that marriage between the two perfect people for each other, I think that it can be a beautiful thing when a couple complements each other, you know, and I don't mean in physical appearances, but when they genuinely complement each other, I think it can be an amazing thing. Now, on the other hand, I don't believe marriage is for everybody. So I'm at a point in my life where, you know, I would like for it to happen if it should, but if it doesn't, I'm okay with that too. I'm like, I don't care either way at this point. That's just how I am. What about you, Z?
Man, I done already picked out my
So
I'm just waiting for somebody to put it on for.
I love you. I love you. Well, that was more of an answer than what Bree gave. Bree gave like this whole, I'm the principal and I'm going to, give you to I don't want to be married again.
Guidance counselor answer. That's what I did. I gave that good old guidance counselor answer.
Take what you will and do what you want. That's the answer you gave, Bree.
Look, we is making 6'4" mad. Yes, you can know.
But I asked that question.
What we were saying was, don't use it to the point where you giving so much of yourself away that person can then go and hurt you, and you don't even know who they are, what circles they run in, what their families do, or what intent they have on even ask you the question. It's not about, of course, you can get their first, middle, last name and get all those questions. But what we saying is be careful with yourself. Like sometimes people use anything that they can get from you that's private. They don't think other people know, and they will use it against you. And it may not be something that you notice right away, but slowly but surely they may start trying to manipulate you because you trusted them at one point. And that's what you got to guard yourself on, 6'4". So it's not that I'm saying they can't even know your name. No, they can know plenty about you, but listen to the vibe, listen to your instinct, listen to what you've been in the past, but don't let it ruin your future, but you still let it guide you. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think that when it comes to, stuff like that is, of course we joke like you can't get the last name. But here's the thing. You have so many times, and now in the age of social media, here's the thing. People don't stalk you anymore like they used to. People will now, like when you have situations like that, people will. Okay, so I've had a stalker or two. But like, I'm so serious. One was physical, one was virtual. It was the craziest thing because I didn't even think you could stalk people online.
Right.
But what people don't realize is, in order to stalk you, they start sending all your friends friend requests. They work their way in your circle, especially if you've decided that that's not your cup of tea and you've moved on from that situation. And it didn't even have to be a relationship. You could meet people on the first or second date and they're like, oh my God, I just love you so much. And you be like, you said what? It's a phone call for me in the back. I mean, because it's creepy, but you have people who are like that and will go to the lengths of the fact that you don't want anything to do with them, will befriend your friends and just start weaving their way in your circle. So people who are maybe 3 times removed from you or went to high school with you or grammar school that you may not even talk to anymore. This person might be telling them something different just to get close enough to them in hopes to get to you in some sort, shape, or fashion. So that's what I mean when I say that I'm protective of certain things, because here's the thing. My first name is so unique that it is literally only 2 of us with this name. And that's only because the lady asked because she named her daughter after me. She had never heard my name ever. And so I'm careful with my first name, my government name. I'm careful with it because I know if someone is using it or says it, that means that they know me. So I have to be careful in some aspects because you have to guard yourself against these crazy people. Online dating people are so fake and so false sometimes. Like you don't know what you're getting, if it's male or female, then everybody trying to ambush people now. So you really have to be careful with the information that you so willingly give out. You know what I'm saying? Like you can say, oh yeah, I'm a Pisces, but that don't mean you need my specific birthday. You see what I'm saying? Like, don't give them
Right.
information that people nowadays can use to crack codes and things like that. So you have to be careful and mindful of certain things you give out because it's easy to find people now with just your name. You know what I'm saying? So just give what you need, what you feel you need, and what you're comfortable with is what I'm gonna say in the first couple
Well,
of days.
all I really need from dating a previously married person, all I need is the end result. Like, what's your end game? Do you want to be married or do you not?
And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Because you need to know that. If you're a person that's dating for the end result to be marriage, and this person is dating just to get their rocks off, you know, eventually at some point, either somebody gonna have to change somebody's mind, or you're gonna have to walk away because you're wasting time. So I mean, you know, just a thought. Just my thought. But it's all in the background. They just all in the background. That's all the time. All them grown folks in my house.
Well, I just want to thank y'all again for allowing me to be a part of this conversation. But I got like 30 minutes to book it to the north side to get back to work. So
Call me later.
thank you. Like y'all really helped me because this was really good for me. Like I realized that I am an anomaly. Like I'm there's no one like me. And dating for me is a trauma. And so dating previously married people who have perfected it, and then that perfection turned into a stain. Like this helped. This helped for me to understand, seeing it from another perspective. Because Battle knows, true or false, right, wrong, yes or no with me.
Yeah.
Was it true? Did it happen? But we're gonna do it again.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you.
And now I get it.
I'm glad that we were able
I see the traumas. I see the growth that takes place over that whole thing. Like I never considered those things because I never had to factor them in. So
Yeah.
I appreciate all the knowledge, the love, and the chastisement.
I'm not gonna play with you. I'm not gonna play with you tonight.
I love someone forcing me to do something that I normally wouldn't do, because to me that's how experience is how you grow. It's how you find yourself. And without you guys telling me no, listen to this point of view, I would have never understood it. So I really appreciate you guys. Ratchet Magic loves you. I love you. Bree, I took your advice today. I made somebody happy.
Yay! Thank you for that kindness. Appreciate you.
And it was my mother. And that's rare with me.
Well, I'm glad you made her smile.
Well, I love you. And again, thank you so much for having me, Battle. I love you. I'll call you as soon as I get off. Y'all have fun.
All right.
See you later. Mwah. So, okay. So we left off on know your priorities, right? On the list. Okay, so we got to finish the list. And then okay, so the next one was be informed about online dating.
Okay.
The next one is don't rush to introduce a new partner to your family and friends. And the next one is like 3 more. The next one is when the time comes, tread lightly if you have children. Tread lightly with the kids. The next one is keep growing. And the last one is trust yourself. So, and that came from Good Housekeeping. I was surprised. I was really surprised that this list came from Good Housekeeping, because my list, when I looked at the list that I had made for what I felt were some good tips after dating, some of them lined up with those and some of them didn't. So I thought it was quite interesting because I came up with 6. And the 6 that I came up with was be in a place of peace or contentment. So that was one. I said, give yourself some me time, meaning no dating, no relationships, no nothing. The next one was go at the pace you're comfortable with. The next one was if you have kids, talk to them. Next one was brace yourself for criticism or judgment. And the last one I came up with was don't bashing your entire marriage or divorce.
Say the last one again.
Don't spend time rehashing your entire marriage or your entire divorce.
Yeah.
Those were the 6 that I came up with. Because I got married, and when I got married, I'd already had 2 small children, and I didn't get married for the right reasons. I knew that we would eventually get married, but we got married because the Army recruiter was like, hey, it'd be easier if you get married beforehand. I was like, okay, why not? And it was not a situation that was something I went into it, even though I felt like the timing may have been off, I still went into it with, like you said, I went into it with the thoughts of these are the vows I said, I'm going to honor these. Look, my grandparents were married over 20 years, like I saw strong relationships. So I'm like, well, I'm going to work it out. But see, I went into it with that mindset, but that wasn't the mindset that he went into it with.
Right.
Well, when we separated a year later due to the domestic violence in our marriage, like he wouldn't give me one. He didn't want one. So I know what it felt like to be trapped and wanting out and not being able to get out of that situation for whatever reason. It definitely gives you the perspective of when it was final. Because I was literally separated for 9 years before I finally got a divorce. And when I got that letter, it was like I was able to take a deep breath and knew that I was no longer trapped with somebody that I was no longer safe with in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And it was, taking that time to, like you said, making sure when we went over the list and making sure it was ended. And it's hard when you're dating and your mind is in limbo as about whether or not this is over, if it's not. And so when I was listening to the list of Good Housekeeping compared to the one I came up with, I found that a lot of stuff they were saying, I felt the same way, but I just may have worded it different. Because it's really the same steps that they tell you to go through, because every single one of that, I didn't realize it was true until you try to jump back out there and you're like, oh, okay, I don't think I'm ready for this. Like, I don't think I'm ready for commitment just yet.
Now,
so I have to know. Well, I had to know what I was dating for.
The thing about that, number one, wait until you separated or divorced, is, again, 9 years. What?
Yeah.
9 years. So everybody does not have that fairy tale divorce. Everybody doesn't have that fairy tale separation. No. And some people, are going to be stuck forever, So that's a hard thing to gauge. And and when you say I got married for the wrong reasons, like, I feel like society plays a huge role into how our sexuality is, how we see ourselves, what's acceptable, what we try to make ourselves put up with on the strength that this is what people think are right and wrong. And I know I heard a lot of that, right and wrong. If it's right for you, it might not be right for me. You know what I'm saying? So don't let anybody tell you what your right is and what your wrong is. And if you know that, and it's, I'm sorry, everybody's not perfect. Some people meet the person that they should have been with while they married. You know what I'm saying? When they married to that person that they know they made a mistake with, it happens. So it's not always cut and dry. Is all I'm saying, And so there is no perfect answer to after the divorce, because after the divorce, you still might be dealing with a whole lot of stuff that you didn't think you was going to have to, but you ready. You just want that other person to leave you alone, and it's perspectives, if you're doing everything you can to walk away and that person, even after divorce, is still not willing to let you go, you have to find, if you're trying to move on with your life, do you wait for this person to stop messing with you? Do you let your partner take care of? It's a whole lot of, could be, it's fine lines to everything, Bree, is all I'm saying. Like, in the perfect world, you want to get separated, you want to get your head together, you want to get a divorce, you want to find that perfect person, start dating, and find out that they're amazing, and then you know what I'm saying? All of that is the perfect steps, but shit don't happen perfect, y'all. No, so you have to know your right and your wrong. You have to know, and that last one that you said, trust yourself. That is key. That's key. You trust yourself to know that regardless of what's going on, you're going to make the best decision for you and yours. Do what you do and don't worry about what society's saying, because yours might not be a storybook separation. It might not be a storybook divorce, Yeah.
Absolutely. What do you think about the one that says, which one was it? Don't rush to introduce a new partner to your family and friends.
Now that I agree with. And I agree with it because if you need to introduce them, they're going to be there in 6 months, in a year, in a year and a half. When you introduce other people back into your relationship, that understand that's what you're doing. You introducing opinions, and you introducing, I liked your ex better. And you introducing, they ain't got no money or they got too much money, what they get, you know what I'm saying? That's when the questions start coming in and people start measuring for themselves how good it's going to be for them. It might be that kid that's wondering if I'm going to get some money out of this one. You know what I'm saying? It might be that parent that wonders, are they going to be here for me like the last one was, whatever. But know that when you introduce that person, their intent is simply to be an accessory for you. Not to be used, abused, and dragged around all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Keep it in perspective. And if you know you got an abusive family, protect that person. Don't throw them in the middle of y'all doggone mess. No one good well they gonna devour them. Like, protect your person. Please don't let them walk into something they don't know what they do. Don't let you know that your aunt is gonna crucify them when they walk in. Please let them know that. You know what I'm saying? Because you can ruin your relationship trying to bring other people in your mess, and it's not ever going to be ready for it because that person is going to be extra. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh my God. I completely understand, because like when I talked about yesterday, dating with children, if children don't like the person you with or whatever, kids are meddlesome. They will do stuff to break up the relationship. Oh, daddy, you left me, and then your girlfriend hit me, and she was mean to me, and the lady will be standing there like, what? No, I didn't. And I'm saying, kids do shit, okay? And especially if they don't like the person you dating, so
if they're
careful about that. You better know if you like them or not.
Look, if they allowing themselves, if they allowing their brother and sister, you think they won't allow to get what they want? So yeah, it's gonna be some kids that be like, you know what? It ain't even about you. It's just the fact that I don't want you in my mama's space because that's taking my time away. So you got to go. So you be that parent that's sitting up there letting your kids be all in your business if you want to, and find out they've been running your life when they leave. You be here later on. Oh, I remember Roy. Boy, I put something in his coffee. You know what I'm saying? Like, you find out you ain't got no man. He's been running them away. The same thing. Keep your business to yourself, even when it comes to your kids. So you know that your partner is equipped to deal with it. Period. Period.
Baby, look, because it ain't no joke, baby. It is no joke. What do you think about the one that says, the one I said with even though we touched on a little bit about the moving on, what would be your advice to the people who have made room for their emotions and their feelings to bubble up and not willing to, I don't want to say understand, but don't process correctly how to let go? What would your opinion be on that?
What you mean you're kind of stuck?
Yeah, like they're stuck between the anger and the hurt and the anxiety or whatever else because they still holding on to that relationship.
Girl, I'm gonna tell you. Look, let me see if I can find it right quick. Cause see, what I do is I say that you can't love nobody more than you love you. So when you sitting up here acting like you about to die because this person has left you and you don't know what you're gonna do with yourself, you pull out that mirror and you look in your own eyes and you talk to yourself and you figure out what you need to do. Because if you don't know how to do this, you can't do that. You stuck for a reason. And it's not, you might be stuck on the memories that you and that person had, but they have started treating you like shit a long time ago. They got no respect for you and they don't want to be with you and they don't have no problem telling you they don't want to be with you. So you need to go figure out what's going on with you. Because that's the problem right there. You're not letting go of memories, but that person has no love for you anymore. Get your stuff together because now you acting like you don't have no love for you. And you best believe that the stages and the stuff that we went through in our lives, like we got a kid in us, we got a teenager in us, we got a grown woman, a young adult, you know, it's stages to us. And it's times that we got hurt that we didn't go back and fix those things. And so that person at that stage in your life is still waiting for you to apologize, to be that that defender, to be that person that can communicate and actually explain what's going on. So if you steady trying to move on and you ain't even looked in the mirror, then you ain't gonna make a mess out of their life and your life. So look in the mirror first, find your self-love, find yourself, and then go do something else. I'm saying.
Come on, Mother Ruth. Come on, Mother. Bobby says, yes, kids tell everything. Wait until my book about what kids say. Girl, kids are like sponges. They listen, watch what you say and do.
And then you twist on it, won't they? And make you forget that was your trick.
It reminds me of that when Kevin Hart was on the thing in his comedy thing, and his mama gave him a note and told him what to tell the teacher. She said, the teacher to mind her business. And, you know, he said, my mama told me to tell you. To mind your damn. I was like, I used to wonder how many of my kids used to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's real. And that's that. You know what, though? Can you blame them? Mama gave me a doggone firecracker. And she said, if you want it to be dynamite, go ahead and light it up. And I threw it. Yeah. I ain't going to get the opportunity again, but I can't get in trouble because you said I could. It was a misunderstanding. Yeah. I would have been that kid.
I cannot.
I would have been that kid. Boy, I'd have colored it up.
I used to be like, I was so bad that my middle name is my mom's first name. So I'm going to show you how I used to get out of trouble. So they would send notices home. And I would sign my mother's name. Got away with it for a while. Oh, got away with it for quite a while. Then one day they called. It was like, then you forgot to sign a different part. And my mother was like, I didn't sign no notice. What are you talking about? So when my dad came to the school, they pulled out that they had sent home that they thought my mother had signed because they thought it was weird that she had started signing my papers. And so they just went along with it. By the time my dad got home to that stage, it was about that big. When I say I got tore up, I got tore up. But see, I was that kid. And when they asked me, my mother said, well, why did you sign my name papers? I said, that see, I always had a smart mouth. I told her, I said, well, technically, I wrote my name. Mm-hmm. I said, technically, I signed my name. It's not my fault that you gave me your name. And so it's mine too. So I wrote it on the paper and they didn't care. And next thing you know, I was on the floor. Like,
what? You ain't no holes in the wall or nothing? Just on the floor?
I
would have had a hole immediately.
kids do. Like, had my dad not came up to the school, I would be like, yeah, my mama told me to give you this. And I would have went back like, yeah, my daddy said to tell you. Like, I was one of those kids. So I completely understand the games kids play, and they are very good at
Girl, you gotta
manipulating.
pull up Bobby comment. Oh no, you gotta pull up Bobby.
Girl, one of my kids told me my mom said my dad is a deadbeat.
Did you hold a straight face, Bobby? Did you hold a straight face though?
She said, "What am I supposed to say to that?"
See, that's why I can't be in the classroom all day long. I would have crumbled. They'd have been like, "Z, you is inappropriate. You was just inappropriate."
They'd be like, "Just take the rest of the day off. Just take the whole rest of the day off." But kids do. Kids say stuff. And here's the thing. Kids know how to go between their parents. Please understand. When you are divorced and you've been in a long-term relationship, years, your kids will play the crap out of you. They'll come to one of y'all and be like, "Look, Dad said I could have this if I did X, Y, and Z, and I did that. Well, now you done went back and told, well, Ma, be like, Daddy, Mom said that I could have such and such if I did ABC, and I already did that." So now they thinking you said one thing, they thinking you said another. And so now that conflict comes in like, well, I didn't say he could have that.
Right.
Well, he said you said he could have it. Right. Like, kids will play that game as long as they know. And that's why it's so important that when you separate, you stay on one page and one accord.
And that is a perfect to bring up, Bree, too, because you have to make sure that as soon as you decided that your relationship is over, your first job is to make sure them kids are your priority. Absolutely. Like, they should not be the ones getting the divorce. You're ending a relationship on that caliber, meaning I'm not going to lay beside you. I'm not going to sit up here and sleep with you. We not spending the same time in the house no more. But you still mama and I'm still daddy, or vice versa. Right. And we going to raise these kids. Because we didn't make it does not mean our kids are going to suffer. And that is important for any parent. I missed that comment. What was it?
She said, girl, what? She said, Zella, I said, don't say that. Go play. That's that common preschool and kindergarten teacher answer. Stop that. Don't say that.
Quick thinking.
Go play in the kitchen area. I got that a lot. Don't say that. Don't play. I know that answer. That's that. Get the hell away from me and find you some business. But that's the baby version.
Yeah, I definitely say pay attention to your kids. Pay attention to what they're doing. They start acting out. Sit them down. Don't sit up there and say, "Oh, that's just how kids act when their parents is going through a divorce." These are still the same kids they was before they found out that y'all was going through a divorce. Do not let that be their excuse to get out of life. Don't let that be their, "Oh, I have but one parent in that." Now you got two parents. They just don't like each other. But we love you, so don't worry about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and grown people should be able to handle whatever business they're going through with their relationship or their divorce without bringing the kids into it for opinion, for to make things worse or better. They should not be used as leverage. Don't be arguing in front of them. They didn't have nothing to do with that stuff. But if you scar your children in the process because you that angry, then you got a whole nother life that you've ruined. Because you couldn't stop being selfish for 5 minutes. So keep your shit together. Walk away from your partner. Make some agreements. Sign some contracts. Do the paperwork. Do the mediation. Do whatever you need to do to make sure the kids don't suffer. Because you brought them in this world. They didn't sign no paper. They didn't walk down no aisle. They didn't sign no doggone marriage license and say, "I do." They didn't get a choice. You know? So I'm sorry. That's my pet peeve.
I get it. Look, because I truly wholeheartedly believe that children should remain neutral, and you should not be speaking about their daddy. I don't care how much you hate him or he irks your butt or makes your ass itch. You should not be talking about your child's father to them or around them in which they can hear you. And vice versa. When the kids come see you on weekends, when the kids come see their dad on weekends, stop talking about their mama to them, because here's the thing. She may say something to anger, but if you say something, you ain't even there. So they're going to hold that against you. So you might not want to say nothing about their mama. Just keep your comments to yourself, however you feel, because kids should remain neutral in that situation and should not be put one against the other. Like,
Right.
That's not an option.
If your friend, the only friend you got is your kid, you need to go fix that. Fix that. They ain't got nothing to do with that. You let that child be a child.
I had 3 deal breakers that I came up with.
Okay.
Tell me what you think. One was if they continuously ask questions about my ex or my divorce. That's a deal breaker for me. Because you quoted, I don't understand why you quoted.
Yeah, you don't need, if you need that much information, that's a comparison. And once that's nasty. No. So yeah, definitely.
Okay. So my next one was continuously pushes your boundaries.
No, you can't even touch my line. No. See your big toe print. Gone. No. Dismissed.
The third one I came up with was ignores your comfort level. That's the third one I came up with. Because here's the thing. If I tell you I'm not comfortable enough yet for you to meet my children, don't keep asking me. Okay, so you think next week we could probably do some with the kids? Or if not next week, maybe the week after we can do some with like, no, didn't I just say I'm not ready for that yet? I'm not ready for the family. Yeah, like those are the
Yeah. The reason why you're trying to get close to me, even if it's in your mind, you're thinking, I really know this person is the person for me. You shouldn't be so insecure in yourself that you feel like you got to make it happen like that. Because if it's meant to be, it don't matter how long it takes, we're going to be together. You know what I'm saying? But if you scared and you rushing stuff and you trying to make me ignore things that I see, or that's a problem. So no, those were
the 3. Those were the 3 that I had came up with because it just seemed like when you're dating after divorce, you have more of a little bit of a leniency for certain things.
Yeah.
So that's why I felt like those were the only 3. Because of course, in addition to those, I still have the ones from dating with kids. So it's like I have more than just those deal breakers. But in terms of like a serious relationship, if the other one's cleared, then these would be the 3 that I will go through. Because it just seems like dating after divorce is so hard because you have to not only learn somebody new, but there's so many different ways to get to know somebody now. It's no longer meeting in a bar and you meet over drinks, or now everybody is online dating, eHarmony and all these other places. And so, you have to navigate now learning a new dating system, especially when you've been with somebody for so long. It's kind of awkward trying to get to know somebody else.
I get that. I feel like everybody acts like when they go out on a date, they trying to get married. It's different calibers to this stuff. Like, don't forget that it's okay to date somebody just because you like them, and you ain't got to lay down with them, and you ain't got to make a second date. But if you do, it doesn't have to be on the caliber that I'm looking for a long-term relationship. I might not even be looking for a relationship. I might not even be looking for a date. I just might want to get some, and I want you to walk away from me. But, allow me to give you what I'm wanting, and then you can let me know what you want. And if we in agreement, then that's great. And then if we move up together, that's different. But when you sitting up here talking about you want to get married and I don't even know if I want to date yet, get away from me. Because that's energy. That's my red flag. That's my deal breaker. If I feel like, I guess that you messing with my energy. If I got to keep taking a deep breath to remind you what I just said, or how I just felt, or you can't read me as far as my body language, like, you ain't gonna want to be around me because after a while it's gonna get rude anyway. So you have to be careful with the mindset of the person that you call yourself going out with. Like, you're not looking for a husband next week. Don't let them be acting like your husband this week.
Yeah. Bev says, great psychologist once told me a man you're dating shouldn't meet your kids before a year or 2. And she said, and that's the mistake I've made in the past.
Girl. Some people don't even get the date for a year, 6 months. It's a year.
Right.
Who you talking to? It's according to who you're talking to.
I think that's why as my kids have gotten older, I've just kind of not, because when they were younger, I guess they were so used to me always being around because they always needed me around. Yeah. So like now that they're older, getting into a dating pool, now that my kids are older, for me is awkward trying to get back into a dating scene when you ain't been dating in decades, and your only focus has been kids, especially after a nasty divorce. So it's like it's awkward almost, because now you have to learn that dating don't consist of, hey, how are you, how was your day. When you play the 20 questions, it's almost lame, like, because that ain't what they own. And most of these people on the sites, like you say, they on there like, yeah, so you live in the city, like, so how far are you from this area, like, you want some company, because I could use some company tonight. You be like, what? This is a dating site or a hookup site. So you have to, it can be a scary thing getting back out there, but
you got to look in the mirror. You got to be able to pay attention to what you feel and everything about just like you go out there, you're going out there vulnerable. You're going out there naked. If you done been through a long-term relationship, you feeling awkward hitting these streets, it's because you got to get to know yourself again first. Like, who are you without that partner? Who are you if your kids aren't under you? Who are you if you're not, this person's daughter, or this person's sister, or this person's brother? Who are you outside of the people you connect with? And if you can't tell yourself that, you're not ready to talk to nobody. You might need to get some, but they got toy stores. Like,
well, now we did talk about that last week.
don't put yourself up in a situation you're not ready to deal with, and if it's a physical urge, honey, it's too many ways to handle that. We can have a whole show on that one. Like,
Bobby said, I think it's okay to tell someone you have children, but you can't trust everyone with or around your children. Absolutely.
Not at all.
No, Tossum, so it take 2+ years to get married. Lord, Tossum, I hope you are in your 20s.
Lord, 6'4". How long is it supposed to take?
You something 6'4".
How long is it supposed to take? Tell me.
I feel like, let me tell you something, after 6 months, I know whether or not I want to be bothered with you long term or not. Okay, like, that is my time frame. It's 6 months. 6 months. It like I solidify my opinion. I should say I solidify my opinion in 6 months. It's not long term relationship material, or you just like, oh, this was fun, great to meet you. Gotta go.
6 months in your 20s, 3 months in your 30s. By the time we get here, I'm gonna know in about 2 weeks. This is 40s talking, y'all.
Right, absolutely.
I know what the hell I like and don't like by now. I ain't exploring shit. No, maybe. No, hell no.
He said 6 months to a year is reasonable. Yeah, absolutely. I just feel like in 6 months that you can pretty much, if you have spent enough time with that person, you will know whether or not
It's gone.
I just looked out the corner of my eye and there's like 4 of them right there. I'm like, oh my God.
They like, you done yet? You done?
Exactly. In fact, like, my show, right?
Right.
That's not. My mom said. No. Like, for real, they always said they're like, like, okay, so clearly my kids are telling me it's time to check up them deuces. But I definitely I appreciate you coming on, and my ratchet music. I appreciate you guys coming on, because it's nice sometimes to hear perspective, not just on dating after divorce, but just dating period. So it gave me insight too, because from a person's perspective who's never been married and who hasn't had the life experiences that I've had, wouldn't think to ask questions that I would think to ask, and would not approach that situation in the same way. So it gave me insight a little bit to see what that other side is like, because I've been looking at it from the other side for so long. It was refreshing to see, a different opinion of mine. So
yeah, definitely. Always a pleasure.
Bobby says it depends on the couple. We know couples who dated for years, got married, and divorced.
Yes.
A couple dated for a few months and are still married to this day. That's why it takes it. I guarantee you, they both learn each other, and at some point, that one couple was like, "Yeah, this ain't my cup of tea no more."
Right.
So
but you have to listen to yourself. If you get red flags, if somebody is giving you some feeling, or even if you just feeling like negative when you're around them, just wait, be patient.
Right.
But if you got to go ahead and you're not seeing no red flags or not, it's okay to enjoy yourself until you do. It might not be any to see, and that's great.
Yeah. Thanks, 6-4. He said, great show. Donna said, great comments. Hey, sister. So and that's why I say I really appreciate it, because sometimes it's nice to have sometimes to see if someone will agree with your opinion. There's times when you and we're on the same accord, and then there's times where you and I may have differences of opinions of each other. But one thing I definitely appreciate about you as a person is we're able to still remain friends and respectfully disagree and still hold to our opinions and our positions and not feel less than the other one or feel the need to one up the other one.
Exactly.
So I want to say thank you for that, because so oftentimes, when we look at dating, we don't think about the other aspects that go along with dating. And that's what made me pick the topics tonight of dating after divorce. And then Monday we talked about what it's like dating with kids. And then on Friday, we're going to be talking about what it's like to date after death. Gotcha. Because sometimes that can look a little differently.
Yeah.
Dating after a divorce, because now you're talking about a completely different type of loss.
Right. And then you play people's loyalties too, then. Because it's some kids that's be like, you can't replace my, what I'm saying? And that's a whole nother struggle when you're trying to get yourself back right. So that's you're going to be interested in hearing that one.
Well, tomorrow is definitely it's definitely going to be a slight bit heavier.
Friday, right?
Because I do know a lot of different widows and things like that, and some of them, everybody has taken a different path from it. So, it's interesting to see. So I definitely hope that, that I learned something from you all and that you all learned something from me. And tomorrow, and I hope tonight that you guys, learned a few things. I appreciate the comments and everybody being able to freely give their opinions. I certainly do appreciate that. I appreciate you all coming to the safe space that I created.
Is it Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday?
No, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okay,
Friday.
So you keep saying tomorrow. I'm like, wait a minute.
I think today is Thursday. Don't ask. It's been a long day. But Friday we're going to be talking about it. Saturday I'll be at the pop-up shop on the 21st. So I'll be doing a special show Saturday from the pop-up shop, talking to the vendors and stuff that are there. So, but Jackie says, thank you, ladies. See you Friday, Mama Bree. Absolutely, Jackie. I'll see you Friday when I have my 24 karat gold flavor. Yeah. So, but I thank you guys. And usually I ask that you guys do one random act of kindness, whether it be to smile at someone or to wave at someone that you don't know, and to allow that light and that love to just say hello. Come on, just say hi. That's baby girl. She already trying to steal a ring light. See what I'm talking about? Like,
she got you the last time.
She got me last time. She did. She got me last time. But allow that light and that love that's inside of each of you all to spill out and ooze upon somebody else, starting with all the people in your household, so that when you go about your day, it can spill out upon someone else, that it may fill them up and allow it to continue to spill out. I thank you guys. And in case nobody told you, you are important. You are loved. And I love you. And there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. Is there anything you wanted to add, Ms. Zelma?
I think that was plenty.
Well, I will see y'all on Friday evening at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Who knows? She might pop back in. You never know. She might be on Friday too. You never know. You never know who's going to be here until you come on in. So I will see you guys Friday at 5 p.m. See y'all later.